Today, we're going to be learning about a contemporary artist whose name is Yayoi Kusama. Yayoi Kusama is a Japanese artist who is making art today, which makes her a contemporary artist. Kusama is primarily a sculptor and works with installations, but she has also done many marvelous paintings. She's worked in film and fashion. She writes poetry. She is very well-rounded. One common theme that we see in a lot of her artwork is polka dots. Some people even call her the princess of polka dots. So in most of her artwork, she has that repeating design of polka dots. One of her favorite things to include in her artwork besides the polka dots is pumpkins or gourds. She grew up on a farm that grew pumpkins and gourds, so she was around them a lot when she was growing up in Japan. So we see a lot of those in her artwork. So today's art lesson, we are going to be drawing a pumpkin in Yayoi Kusama's artistic style. So here we go. So you are going to need, if this is your art packet, you need one of those thicker papers from the back. So you have the thin ones in the front. You want to grab one of those thick papers from the back of your art packet. So I'm going to be drawing our Yayoi Kusama pumpkin with a Sharpie. Make sure that you are using a pencil. And we're going to start by turning our paper this way. So this is going to be called landscape or horizontally. Not tall like this. We want it to be long ways in front of us. And we're going to start in the middle. Okay, so there is a lot of different ways that you can draw this. I'm going to show you a couple different options, but we're going to start in the middle of our paper. So like we talked about, her pumpkins are kind of lumpy and bumpy. They don't look like perfectly round pumpkins. So you can use your artistic freedom to make whatever kind of pumpkin you want. So we're gonna start by adding that middle section of our pumpkin. And that's gonna be like a long oval shape, okay? So this is an option if you would rather. It can be kind of big in the front and skinny at the top. It's really up to you. However you want to start, you have some options. On this very first piece, we're going to add our stem. Okay, so we want our stem to be pretty big, almost the same width as our first piece of the pumpkin. So I'm going to go ahead and make my stem. If you would like for your stem to be long and curly, it can be. So like, there's another kind of pumpkin stem. It's totally up to you. Now we're going to kind of start at the top and just add some curved lines to be the rest of our pumpkin. So it's going to start up here on the stem, and it's going to be a curved line this way. And it comes down and touches the bottom down there. Same for this. It's going to start on the stem and come down here and touch the bottom. Notice how large I'm drawing. I'm not drawing a teeny tiny little pumpkin. I have a nice big pumpkin. He's taken up most of my paper. I'm gonna add a couple more lines. Again, I'm gonna start from the stem and go around and around that way, okay? If you started with a long, kind of bumpy looking pumpkin, you're still gonna start from the stem. And you can do those same kind of little bumpy looking lines for your pumpkin. After you have your pencil drawing done, we are going to outline it with oil pastel. If you don't have oil pastels at home, crayons will work just fine. So you're gonna have to make a decision. You're gonna need to pick one color for your pumpkin and one color for your dots. Your dots don't have to be black, and your pumpkin doesn't have to be yellow or orange. It can be any color you want, but one color for the pumpkin and one color for your dots. I am choosing blue for my pumpkin, and I'm gonna do orange dots. So whatever color you're gonna choose to do your pumpkin with, you are going to take your oil pastel or your crayon, and you are going to trace over your pencil line that we did for our pumpkin outline. When you are using oil pastels, we want to make sure that all of that color is really getting down on our paper. So we want to push kind of hard. We don't want to push too hard or else the oil pastels will break. And if they break, just make sure both pieces get put back in our box. Now our word of the day is going to be variety. Variety is a lot of different things. Like if you have a variety of snacks, you have a lot of different snacks. In Yayoi Kusama's artwork, she uses a lot of variety in her sizes. So we want to use a variety of polka dots. So we don't want all of our polka dots to be the same size. We want to have some small and some medium and some big and some really big and some medium kind of small, guys. We want to have a variety. So I'm going to use my orange oil pastel. You can choose whatever color you want to add a variety of dots to my pumpkin. Now, when you have the outline drawn with oil pastel and you're using your hand to add your dots, be careful not to rub your hand back and forth because it will smear the oil pastel. So you're gonna have to kind of be careful when you're adding those in. What I like to do is take a scrap paper and set it down so that I don't smudge my oil pastel. Kind of cool. So I'm actually gonna start over here in the corner and work on adding some variety of dots to my artwork. When you're adding your dots, you want to make sure you are filling in all the way. So what that means is we're not just drawing a circle, but we are filling it in. So I'm going back in and adding some nice little medium-sized dots. Do some small dots over here. Now, notice as I'm going along, I am not taking my oil pastel and going dot, 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 all over the paper. What I am doing is I am going in a line. I'm controlling my hand and doing one at a time in a nice, orderly line. So, as you can see, I have switched my oil pastel, but it is still an orange oil pastel. So I am making sure to fill in my circles. I'm not leaving any white space. I am completely filling those in as I go along in a nice, neat, orderly fashion. I am not going crazy and putting dots all over the place in a crazy fashion. I am taking my time filling those in and going one row at a time. So this scrap piece of paper is protecting your artwork from getting smudged, and it's also protecting your hand from getting dirty. But another thing that you're going to have to remember as you're moving along is these oil pastels will drop off little tiny pieces, and you're going to want to brush them away with your hand. If you do that, it's going to smudge your artwork just like your hand would be if it was moving across it while you're drawing. So Use the scrap paper to protect your artwork, and if you have those little extra bits of oil pastel that fall off, just blow them away. Don't brush them away with your hand. Once you have finished with your crayon or oil pastel, doing your outline and adding your dots, if you would take a picture using your Chromebook and upload it to the assignment in our Google Classroom, I would love to see your pumpkins. Y'all have an awesome, awesome Monday.